Hi, everyone. Welcome to Your Disabled Joy. My name is Nico Meyering, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a white man with parted blonde hair, large blue and brown spectacles, and a short sleeve button up t shirt that is pink and has some palm trees on it. Very Hawaiian. I'm seated in front of a purple wall and two bookcases. And like about 20% of the world, I'm disabled. Non-disabled people might see our lives as tragic, sad, flawed, but I don't know, guys. I've been disabled a pretty long time now, and I think there's also room for disabled joy. Our disability community has as many opinions as it has members, so I've asked my friend Zane here with me today to talk about disabled joy. Zane, my friend, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing? And I'll give a quick introduction. My name is Zane. I use he/him pronouns. I have short brown hair. I wear clear glasses. I'm wearing a black and gray striped shirt, and my skin is light. And I am around a white wall, white bed, a lot of white in my apartment. So that is a bit about me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Zane. Can you share a joyful memory with me? It could have to do with your disability or your disability journey, or it could be totally separate. Either is valid.
I will say probably like the most recent thing I can think of when it comes to disabled joy is I've been working for the National Geographic Society since November. I worked there remotely until January, where I officially moved to DC, and this is my apartment. And I think one of the most satisfying things for me was joining the 15% Plus, which is their disability inclusion network or disability employee resource group, depending on what people I think about. But basically, it's in the realm of that. And they officially launched in January, which was really exciting. So I think I joined the organization at a really exciting time. And usually a lot of the inclusion networks have, 2 to 3 co-chairs. Unfortunately, one of the co-chairs for the 15% Plus did leave for they're pursuing their PhD. So they can't, they chose, not to work. I know some folks can do their PhD and work full time somehow. But I think that's a lot. That's a lot to do. And so I do commend anyone that even pursues a PhD for one and deciding to leave a good stable job. So, but anyways, and then I really had no idea what they were going to do with the position. And I thought, are they going to find someone else? I've only been here for like 3 or 4 months. And I actually was nominated to fill the position by the DEI programs person, mostly because her and I have talked about disability and mental health like pretty extensively. And I think that just like the visibility of me being there, I think helps a lot. And I got super involved, and I am super involved in all their DEI programs. I go to every Inclusion Network event. I try to go to every single meeting. And for my role as internal communications, I try my best to be transparent and just build these organic relationships with people inside the company. And so that includes the inclusion networks. And I love it as well because I love the work and it just challenges me to be a better ally. But I was incredibly honored. I can't remember when I was nominated, if it was March or April, but it was pretty recently. And it was just really exciting to be nominated for that because, again, I've been on a good trajectory with my disability advocacy and understanding my disability identity. And for just to be nominated for a position like this, I didn't think that I would be able to do something like that till another year or two. Not that I can't really do the job. I believe I can. It was more like that people would actually recognize me as a potential leader in these spaces. So that was really exciting. And so, I really thought about it and I thought that I'm going to accept it, but I need to set my boundaries and just be transparent that, hey, I'm new in this organization still. So there's a lot more room for me to learn here. So I want to accept the position, but just understand that I'm still new and I'm still understanding things still. And that's kind of like the advice I do give others, that even if you don't feel like you're qualified for a role that someone thinks you are, just be upfront with that then and say, I'm not sure if I'm ready, or if there's any way that, there's a good transition process for this. Just, always ask those questions because I wasn't sure about it. But it's been really exciting. And we planned a lot of activations for Mental Health Awareness Month. That was really exciting. We gave a bunch of green ribbons to everyone. And so during the first week of May, I wasn't there. I was actually in California, but like my colleague was saying that like, oh, almost everyone, like so many people had green ribbons, which was just really cool for people to like visibly show support for, you know, mental health awareness. And that was just a great thing to experience. And I think the latest thing is like we're planning certain things for, you know, Disability Pride Month. And I'm glad we are, because, you know, I still struggle to find many companies that will highlight disability rights during Disability Pride Month. And so I'm really excited that, you know, we're doing things like celebrating the ADA or just kicking off the month or talking about accessibility. There's a lot of different things that we're going to do. And of course, we're going to have in-depth conversations about disability pride. And I'm glad you're doing this because I feel like with disability in particular, but I think like many groups that are underrepresented, like sometimes the common theme is about the pain rather than the joy or celebration. And I think that that's not a good thing. I think that if the narrative is only that you're presenting this narrative that disability or certain other groups is only pain and suffering, that's how you're going to see them, right? And instead, if we can also paint different stories of people with disabilities saying, hey, they're living their lives, they're successful, they're amazing, and not just because they have a disability, but because they actually do amazing things, like they run a business or they're a CEO or they have their own business on the side or they're a baker, whatever it is, just to show that, you know, again, people with disabilities are human, they do things that other people can do, and you know, they experience joy, and having a disability is not the end of the world.
Zane, thank you so much. I love hearing that you're building bridges between disabled resource groups and other resource groups. I love that you're putting your name out there, and I think you're going to do really well. Fantastic. I love to see you flourishing, my friend. How have your disabilities interacted or intersected with what you do to get joy for yourself or to pursue happiness?
I think that, you know, with, you know, my disabilities of like depression and anxiety, that sometimes it is a chore to find joy because a lot of the times I might be depressed or have anxiety. And I think sometimes I might focus on that and focus on feeling depressed or feeling anxious rather than I'm actually going to try to take the time for myself and just not focus on it. It's going to happen, of course, like I'm going to experience it, but how about instead of trying to fix it or not feel depressed, I find ways to still find joy in my life, even if I'm feeling depressed still, you know, instead of me thinking that, oh my, I'm feeling depressed, I'm going through this period of depression, so I have to stay that way, rather than, no, let me do something about that will make me find joy. I might not find ultimate joy, but I think it's a good step from not feeling as depressed. I'm not saying that my depression will go away and that will never happen, but a way to kind of alleviate it a bit. And I think that's a good step to finding like disabled joy.
Thank you. I would agree. I'm glad that you're able to kind of pull yourself out of those tailspins when they happen. It sounds like you have some good coping mechanisms.
Mhm.
Zane, I know that you have a lot of disabled experiences, which is fantastic normally, but it might make this next question a bit difficult. If you
Mhm.
could pick just one thing that you want the rest of the world to know about disabled life or disabled quality of life, if I gave you a magical megaphone, everyone had to listen to you, what would you say?
Um, I would say, I know it's kind of like a buzz phrase, but I do love it. Like disability is not inability. I
Okay.
think I do love that. I know it's kind of a trendy thing, but it's trendy for me. And I think people in the disability space, but I don't think a lot of people actually are aware of that. And I think some people do think of disability as inability still. And I understand that, you know, there are experiences that, you know, a person with disability may not be able to do, right? But I feel like it's like a black and white version though, like like the inability that I think some people have is like you have this disability, you can't do many things, you can't do several things because of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, maybe I can't do this as much as you can, but maybe I can do more things better than you actually, because maybe because I'm anxious, I can be a little more understanding or empathetic or whatever it is. Like there are things that can come with having a disability that, you know, I think can be advantageous against someone that doesn't. So it just gives you like a different perspective, and I think that's valuable. So that is what I would, that's like the phrase that I would say, and just, affirm to people that, people with disabilities are trying to just lead, trying to just have, normal lives on how they want to see it. And you don't have to make assumptions. You don't have to be stereotypical. You don't have to hold any forms of ableism. There's so many things. Stop thinking of people with disabilities as less than. And I understand that, not that you may think that you're better than them. Maybe you don't think that, but the other flip, which is like you pity them. I want you to stop doing that because again, it's like when you do that, you take away not necessarily their freedom, but I feel like you paint such a picture of their experience of what you think they are. It's like, it's going to be really hard for you to comprehend that they can just be living normal lives and be joyous people,
Oh, absolutely. That's really valuable. Thank you, Zane. And I love what you're saying about disabled minds being innovative minds. We see evidence of that time and time again.
Mhm.
Zane, my last planned question is one that I ask all my guests, regardless of project. Is there a recent win that you're celebrating that you want to name so that we may celebrate it alongside you? Or if not, what cool things are you involved in? Where can people find you online if you're open for connecting? This is your chance to really brag about yourself, promote yourself, step up on that soapbox, my friend.
Let's see. I mean, oh my goodness. Um, I was recently featured in Cliche Magazine, which is a fashion magazine. That was really exciting, talking about some of my new aspirations and what I want to be moving into. I've been doing really well with my job. Next week, I'm going to Portugal for a wellness retreat. I got my passport today. Yes, I got it today. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm very grateful that I was able to get it. I'm in DC because you can't do that if you're not in DC, but I'm here, so I was able to pick it up the same day. That was very anxious, of course, but I have been going through a lot of anxiety with traveling because I'm meeting some folks in a group that I haven't met some of them, and I've known one of them for like a year and a half, and there's just a lot of anxiety with that, and I'm just a little nervous about it, but it is a really exciting adventure, and it's also my first time out of the country. And I will be talking about disability pride there. Of course I will be. And I won't be surprised if people don't know too much about it, but I don't care because I will be talking about it, and it's something, worth talking about. So I think, and I write for Entrepreneur. I actually wrote an article for them about disability, about how to actually embrace people with disabilities in your organization. Hopefully that comes out in a couple of weeks. But I talk about the need for accessibility, without including people with disabilities, it's not a diverse workplace. I do bring up, some stats that I posted today, like, even with more people with disabilities going into the workplace, while that's a good thing, there's still very low rates of self-identification, and it's even lower. I don't know if that doesn't necessarily mean that the number has gone lower, because now that there's more people, maybe it has balanced out because there's more people, but you still want the percentage to go up, if that makes sense. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but maybe it is at the same place, but now that there's more people, it's still kind of the same-ish rate, maybe. That doesn't make sense. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is I just hope more people with disabilities can come forward, because I think it was like 3.5% of self-identification rate, and that is really, really low. And I feel like there's a lot of progress being made in corporations and organizations, but there's still a lot of shame being attached to the disability identity, and that's just a sad thing to see. So that means that people with disabilities are getting into roles, which is a good step, but it's like they can't even really bring that to their workplace in a way that maybe they desire to. So I'm excited for that to come out. So a lot of exciting things. And I also wrote another article on how to address workplace trauma, which of course can be connected to if you've experienced ableism or anything. That could be almost anything. So a lot of joys that I'm really excited about, a lot of wins, and it is a little nerve-wracking, some of them, but I'm happy about them.
It sounds like you have a lot in the offing for you in preparation. That's really exciting. Zane, thank you so much for taking this time to talk with me. I love hearing about what you're doing. I love knowing that you're at National Geographic doing these internal communications and getting your disability speaking career off the ground as well. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Of course, audience, tune in next time. And remember, I'm rooting for you.